Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dania if you're new here, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you some mini machines from Amazon that can make you big money. You don't need a big investment, you don't need to be a designer, and most of these require no skills and are beginner friendly. And make sure you stick around until the end of the video. I'll be sharing how you can get your hands on a free PNG design, which is the one I'll be using in my last project. All right, so the first mini machine I want to talk about is this beautiful thermal printer. I know you're probably thinking, thermal printer, shipping labels. Yes, obviously, if you do have a small business and you use this to print out your shipping labels, it is a game changer. I can tell you from my own personal experience, I've loved Munbun's thermal printers, and I can't imagine going back to the old ways where I used to print my shipping labels from a regular printer and all the wasted ink. But that isn't the small business idea I want to share with you today. If you're not familiar with thermal printers, they basically use heat to print out your designs, so you never have to buy ink. It uses no ink at all, which was the first thing I loved about thermal printers in general. I have been using the Munbun thermal printer for months now, and I have loved it so much. This is their newest release. It is faster and produces even higher quality designs. So let me show you a few ideas on how you can use this machine to start a small business and to make money. Now, just like with any other small business, you have to be creative on how you position your items if you want to stand out from the crowd. And the way you can do that is look at all the different shapes and sizes that they have that are compatible with their printers, and try to think on how you can turn these into a business opportunity. So for example, with this size, let me show you, with the 4x6, a lot of people use these for shipping labels, right? And you can absolutely do that. Like I said before, it really is a game changer when it comes to shipping labels. But my idea is you can create custom designs for small business owners and sell them those designs. So you can create either bundles of 10 pieces or 100. You press one button, the machine starts printing them out. Once it's done, you pack those up and ship it to your customer. It's as easy as that. You don't have to do anything after the initial step when you design the file on your computer, or you can even have the small business owner send you the ready-made design and you can print it out for them. So for example, I have this design that I created on my computer, and let's pretend this is my customer. This is her website. She wanted something custom for Halloween, and you can apply this for Christmas, for Thanksgiving, for any holiday. The nice thing is small business owners always want to add creative labels on their packages, and you can absolutely customize it any way they want. So we're going to hit done, and then we're just going to preview, and we're going to choose 4x6, and then I just need to make sure the orientation is correct. So it has to be this way. I'm going to print. Now it's already connected via Bluetooth. And that's it. It's as easy as that. And now your customer can put this on the outside of her packages. It's very cute. It's personalized. People can access her website right away. Her as in me, but you know, this is just a sample. And then, like I said, you can batch print these. So for example, I forgot to select the quantity. So for example, let's cancel that. You go to settings, and then you can change quantity to 100, let's say, and then you press complete and you start printing those, and you just sit back, relax while it does all the printing. You put these in the poly mailer or the box and you ship it to your customer. And in terms of investment, other than the price of the printer itself and the labels, that's all it's going to cost you. You have to factor in, you know, your time. And if you're creating the designs for her, make sure you're factoring that in as well. But it's a very small investment and you can really make a very good profit. Now, I want to show you other ideas using their transparent, look at how beautiful these are. They're transparent labels. And then they also have these heart labels as well. I don't know if you can see. Now, once we print it out, you'll be able to see. So changing out the labels is very easy. All you have to do is open the lid, and then you feed this through. I'm going to remove the first one because I accidentally peeled that one off. So you feed this through. You make sure the size is correct. And they do have really cute stands for the labels so that they're not just sitting on the table, if you'd like to purchase those as well. Perfect. Now it's just going to make sure it knows the size. All right. So another idea you can offer small business owners is you can have them send their logo or their website or whatever they want on the label, and you can let them know beforehand the size, of course, for the labels so that they're not surprised. You know, they might think it's smaller or bigger in real life. So make sure you provide all those details. And then just to show you an example on what this would look like. So this size is the 2.25 by 1.25. All right, print. Look at how pretty that looks. Isn't that cute? It's as simple as that. Make sure customers send you the PNG file so that there's no background, and that's it, you're set. Okay, now let's work on the heart stickers. Again, just adjusting the size. So we're gonna go to create, and then we'll choose the correct size, which is 3 by 3 for the hearts. They even have this right there. So we're gonna click on that. And then they have so many ready-made options: travel, Easter, party. Now, if a customer just wants it to say, thank you for your order, and then maybe she just wants her name, let's say, from Dania. All right, and then I'm going to adjust the size from here. And I can even change the font. So how about we do this font with the heart? That's cute. All right, now that that's ready, we're gonna hit print and making sure the printer is connected. All right, print. Oh my gosh, look at that. Look at that. And again, you can personalize the message with whatever your customer wants it to say, but you really have a big area where you can add a personalized message and their website, because this is big enough to fit all of that information compared to their transparent stickers, which are smaller, and you probably only want to add maybe a smaller logo and the website like what we did before. But that is perfect. And they do have so many other colors online, and I'll have that information linked below if you want to see what else you can use and create with. So let's switch these out with the round stickers. So these are the 2-inch stickers. So we're just going to choose this color just for reference to match the actual ones that we have. Okay, now let's use one of the ready-made ones for Christmas. You can add your customer's logo. Now this says 2024, so make sure you have the correct year. But you can also add your customer's logo right in the middle, and that's it. It's as simple as that. Let's print. Look at that. And then the customer's logo will be right in the middle. Isn't that perfect? It's so easy. So if you already have the regular white shipping labels and you want to test out some of these ideas and sell, unique, custom-made stickers or labels to small business owners, what you can do is you can still use those. You don't need, the brown ones or the round or smaller ones. You can offer to have small business owners send you the design, or they can even let you know what they want it to say and you can design it for them. So for example, this says, when you shop small, you're supporting a dream. Thank you so much for your order. You can possibly add the website on the bottom as well, because a lot of people, when they buy from small businesses, they appreciate that personalized, touch. So adding a small message like this would really make a big difference. Another way small business owners can take advantage of these, because these are probably going to go on the package itself, they can even have a discount code for repeat customers. So it can say, next time you purchase from my shop, use code thank you to get 10% off. That encourages people to come back. And it also shows them that, we appreciate your order, and it just adds a really nice touch to the order. So those are just some ideas on how you can use a thermal printer to start a small business and make it into a side hustle and make some really nice profit. Okay, the next machine is this tiny but mighty Cricut Easy Press Mini. Now, I already plugged it in and I turned it on because I want to show you an idea that I think not many people know about, and you can definitely use this to start a very unique and easy small business. And that is ready. All right, so this says congrats. And what we're gonna do is I'm just bringing in my heat mat, and I'm bringing in this pretty chiffon ribbon. And I don't think a lot of people realize that you can customize your ribbon, and you can literally add any message you want and sell these in whatever size your customer wants. So you can do bride to be, you can do I love you, during Valentine's Day, you can do Merry Christmas or from Santa, or congrats, when it's graduation season. So many possibilities, and I have not seen many people doing this. So I'm just gonna show you how easy that was. If you're not familiar with the process, I cut out this using my Cricut. Now, for this idea, you do need a cutting machine, but the nice thing is you can use the Cricut Joy. You don't need a huge Cricut machine because these are smaller designs. So all you need is a small cutting machine. You write whatever message your customer orders, and that's it. And then we're gonna do low, and we're gonna go over this just for a few seconds. And I did glitter heat transfer vinyl. I'm just gonna show you just how easy that is. Look at that. And don't worry about all the thread. The chiffon ribbon is meant to have that kind of messy look, and then you can always cut these, but look at how beautiful that turned out. And you just created a personalized item in less than, 2 minutes. So very, very special, unique way to create custom designs and sell them. I'm just gonna show you up close how beautiful that turned out. All right, let's move on to the next one. Next mini machine on the list is this HTVRONT Mini 3 heat press. And this is a similar concept to the Cricut Easy Press Mini. The biggest difference is the size, of course. So these are the two of them side by side for you to have a better idea of the size difference. But then this also has this curve, which is very helpful if you're working on sublimation and you have mugs that you want to customize. Because of this area, it just makes it really easy. So I just recently worked on these shoes for my daughter, and the curve really helped with this side right here, with the front. And if you missed that video, I'll have it on the screen so that you can watch it. Again, I used a cutting machine to cut these out, but you don't need one of the bigger Cricut machines. You can easily use the smaller Cricut Joy, and these turned out so cute and unique. You can absolutely do something like this and sell these online or at craft fairs. That's another thing, is that all these machines, even the last one, even though it's not as small as these, you can take them to craft fairs and make designs and sell them on the spot. That's definitely an opportunity. Very unique idea. I haven't seen many of these, especially not at craft fairs. Another way you can use either one of these mini heat presses is by personalizing stuffed animals. You can add names, you can add birthdays, or any other message that your customer wants on here. These make very special gifts, so they're always very popular products online. Definitely don't sleep on these. They've been popular, and not these in specific as in swans. I mean stuffed animals in general. They've been popular for years, and I don't see them going anywhere. You can also do, it doesn't have to be a swan, you can also do a unicorn or any other stuffed animal that you find online and you notice is, popular or trending. You can customize the message however you want it, big sister, little sister, or maybe flower girl. The possibilities are endless. The next mini machine that you can use to start your small business is a portable hat press. Again, very easy to take with you to craft fairs, low cost initial investment. And when it comes to hats, you can try to buy them wholesale online and you can make a really great profit on each hat. For this idea, you don't necessarily need a Cricut if you don't have one and are not looking to purchase one. So for example, you can buy plain hats and customize them with patches. These are very popular. I don't see them going anywhere anytime soon. If you buy the hats and the patches in bulk, you can make a really good profit on each one. And again, craft fair opportunity because you can have all the patches with you and the hats and you don't have to pre-make any of them and get stuck with, some letters that you don't need or that you might not sell. This way, you don't have any wasted inventory. So on the spot, someone comes up to you and she says, I want the letter E. You personalize it with the E and you sell it to her right away. Now, if you do have a Cricut and you want to use it to personalize the hats, you can absolutely do that. I cut out this cute little strawberry and I'll turn on the hat press and we'll do it together. I'll show you just how fast and easy it is to create hats and again, sell them for a really, really nice margin, especially if you buy them in bulk. So I'm just gonna wait for this to warm up and then we'll work on this hat. So if you're not familiar with how this works, this is the lid and this is how you set up the structure. You put this on and then you make sure these are looped in. And then we're gonna place the hat right on top. Perfect. Once it's ready, I need to cut off the tag. Once it's ready, I'll preheat the area. Okay, how adorable is that strawberry? Seriously? It is definitely strawberry season. All right, so that is ready. I'm gonna press it on. Let's turn on the timer. It is counting down. I did 15 seconds. I really don't think it even needs that much. Let's see. Yep. Okay, now let's add this. Again, I almost forgot. Make sure you always cover up if there's any exposed vinyl because then otherwise it'll melt. All right, I think that is ready. Oh my goodness, look at that. And that took us what? Less than a minute to finish? How special did that turn out? And then don't worry about all of these lines. With time, it goes away. Otherwise, you can put parchment paper and go over it again. But that is how easy it is to create custom hats. You can even add people's initials, their names, make it even more personalized. You can add designs all around. It doesn't just have to be right here. All right, now for the next idea, I want to weed out this design first, and we'll talk about that one in just a few minutes. I love the color. It's so beautiful. I will have a link to this SVG design in the description box if you like it. You can definitely do different colors for each box. I I wanted the whole design to be in this pink, but you can definitely go for a different look. And I'll show you kind of what that would look like, because that's how I did the PNG one. So we'll take a look at that one once I'm done weeding. Look at that. Oh my gosh, the camera never picks up the color. Let me see if you can see it up close. Kind of. It looks like a, I don't know, it looks like a brown on camera. It's definitely pink, rose gold in reality. All right, so this one is the SVG design. And as I mentioned, I'll have it linked below. This is the PNG design. I used my Cricut to cut this one out, and I used my DTF printer to print this out. If you're not familiar with DTF, I'll have a video on the screen that goes more in depth about DTF printing and my DTF printer. Now, one of the differences with DTF versus using a cutting machine like a Cricut is you can get this distressed look, whereas with Cricut, you could possibly do that if this SVG had that distressed effect to it. But from my personal experience, trying to get that effect, the machine just kind of goes crazy because the dots are so small and it doesn't give you the same results. So this is pretty much the same design with, you know, this major difference other than the color. And like I said, you could easily do different colors for this design. I wanted to keep it a solid pink, but you can absolutely do that if you want to. Now I'm gonna take you downstairs and show you the next machine on the list. Even though this is not as small as all the other ones I've shared, it is still compact compared to many others in the market. And you can still take it to a craft show as long as you have electricity, of course, somewhere to plug it in. You can take it to a craft show and press designs on the spot. And, you know, depending on your preference, SVG or PNG designs can go on tote bags, t-shirts. It's really up to you. I have found that the margins are bigger with tote bags. So that would be my recommendation, especially if you're starting out and you don't want to spend a lot of money on inventory and you're kind of testing out the market and you want to see how it goes. I also noticed that tote bags do a lot better in craft fairs than t-shirts do. You know, with t-shirts, you have to have different sizes, different variations, whereas with tote bags, it's just one variation unless you want to do more than one color. So let's go downstairs and let's press these designs. All right, now you might have guessed it, but the next machine I want to talk to you about is a heat press. Now, again, this is not a tiny machine, but compared to other heat presses on the market that are a lot bigger, this is relatively compact. You can take it to a craft fair if you want to. That means it's ready, as long as you have electricity. I have two different kinds of heat presses. This is a clamshell, which you pull down and you press down when you have your t-shirt or tote bag in here, and you can adjust the pressure from here. So if you want to be able to manually control the pressure yourself, then you want the clamshell style heat press. This one is an auto press, and I'll have the video on the screen where I unbox this and I talk about all the features. Let me bring you guys closer. Okay, that's better. The main difference is this one is automatic, and I'll show you exactly what that means. We'll work on one tote bag using the purple heat press and then one tote bag using this one. I saw many people online saying that this auto press is not good if you want to work with DTF transfers. So if you want to use DTF transfers like this, a lot of people were saying that this is not a good press for that. However, I did find a hack online that I'm going to be testing out in my next video. So make sure you watch that one as well if that helps you decide between an auto press and a regular adjustable heat press. So one thing to know about this small business idea is if you don't have a Cricut and you don't want to be cutting your own vinyl, you just want to sell either tote bags or t-shirts, but you want to also buy the designs. You don't want to worry about doing them yourself. You can definitely purchase DTF transfers online. There are so many websites that sell them, and I'll have resources in the description box if you're interested in that. Another idea is you can also buy ready-made patches. They're super cute. Now these were from Dollar Tree, so these two were $1.25. They come in one pack together, but you can definitely buy even cheaper ones if you buy them, again, in bulk. And you can buy different designs. You can do tote bags with initials or t-shirts, you know, so many possibilities, and you don't necessarily have to have a cutting machine or a DTF printer. All right, now let's get started. And I'm already wearing the hat that I just made. Okay, so let's start with the DTF transfer because this is, again, adjustable, but I will definitely test out the hack that I found online. And if it works, it means you can buy an AutoPress and use it for everything. Sublimation, vinyl, DTF, all of it. Because as of now, this doesn't give you enough pressure for those things, according to what most people are saying online. I haven't tested it out myself. I will be doing that either next week's video or the following week, but make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that. All right, so I'm gonna start off with this tote bag, and I bought this from Michaels. I love their tote bags. I'll have a link to it in the description box as well. If there's any item that you're wondering about and you can't find in the description box, just let me know in the comments section. All right, so let's do a pre-press. And I don't need to turn on the timer. I just did like 3 seconds. And that powder that you see, that's all gonna go away. That's just the adhesive that basically helps this hold on to the fabric. And you can, again, watch the video that I mentioned where I go through the whole process. All right, that looks good. I will grab my Teflon sheet just to be safe. Okay, pressing it down and then starting the timer. For DTF, I do 320 for 20 seconds, and then it's a cold peel. All right, so I'm gonna wait for that to cool down. Another nice thing about DTF and why so many people are really liking this new printing method is you can print full color transfers on dark fabrics. And I'll show you how the colors turn out once I remove the film. All right, this no longer feels hot, so let's peel this off. Now, once I do a second press, all of this goes away. I don't even think you can see it on camera. It's almost like white powder, but all of it disappears once I do a second press. And look at that. Look at how adorable that tote bag turned out with the distressed look too. Isn't that cute? And if I didn't mention this already, you'll find a link in the description box where you can download this design for free. I'm gonna do one more press. I just like to do 5 seconds after I peel off the film. So cute. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's work on the next one. All right, now the heat press has almost reached the desired temperature. It's gonna beep once it's ready. But the biggest difference is this is automatic. So you saw how I used a clamp to pull that one up and down. And that one is ready. This does not have a clamp because it does it for you. All right, let's do a pre-press and I'll show you how that works. Now you want to make sure you have it set to automatic because otherwise there's an option to have this go up and down manually. You know, in case you don't want it to run the full 15 seconds or however long you have the timer, you have the option to make sure, you know, it doesn't lift up until you press the button. I'm going to have it set to automatic to show you. So once I push it in, so it's going to go for the full 15 seconds because that's the time that I chose, and it's going to lift up and you don't have to worry about standing next to it, you know, waiting for the timer to go off so that you can pull it up. This is really nice for if you want to multitask. With my clamshell one, it's hard because I always have to stand right next to it. Even though it's only 15 or 20 seconds, it still feels like I'm wasting time, you know? So it's a nice feature and I really like it. I'm hoping the hack that I found works because that means I'll be able to use this one for most of my projects. All right, I folded the tote bag in half just to see where the crease was, and then I folded this in half as well. So I'm just going to eyeball this. The nice thing with vinyl is that this is sticky, so it holds in place and then you can actually like lift it up and see if you like the position. Okay, that looks perfect. Oh my gosh. Gorgeous. Okay, I'm gonna take this upstairs and I'll show you both tote bags in better lighting. All right, here's a close-up of the tote bags. The color still doesn't look very accurate to me, so I'll insert a clip in different lighting to hopefully show you exactly what this looks like in reality. I hope this video inspired you in some way. If you decide to start a small business, I want you to know I'm rooting for you. I wish you all the best. Don't let fear get in your way. Take it from someone who waited 3 years to start YouTube, because I was scared of so many different things, and when I finally stopped letting fear dictate my life, it really changed for the better. I love you all so much. If you made it till the end, add a flower emoji. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in next week's video. Bye.